umpire behind the plate tonight is an American League umpire working the first World Series game back there he's ever worked. He is Larry Getz. The rest of the umpiring crew is Harry Windelstead of the National League at first base, and down the right field line, Paul Pryor. American League umpire Marty Springstead will call him at second base. National League umpire Augie Donatelli at third, and Jerry Neudecker of the American League down the left field line. The umpires have several things different, the most conspicuous of which, of course, is the different uniforms. The National Leaguers wear black coats and black pants with white numerals on their sleeves, and the American League umpires wear a very bright blue pant and a maroon jacket. Well, as Jerry Koosman walks around behind the mound and gives a good sign to all his players, Bert Campaneris stands in, and we're ready, and here is NBC's Jim Simpson.
Thank you, Baltimore. Campaneris against Koosman in the second game, 1 for 2, had a triple. He's 5 for 20 in the series. Koosman, the left-hander, throws. It's a strike on the outside corner. Koosman most effective in his last 4 starts, including the playoffs, before not being effective in World Series game number 2. More about that later. Right back with a curveball that drops over the inside corner. Strike 2. Fastball on the outside corner. Slow curve on the inside corner. Campaneris behind 0-2. Koosman in his last 4 starts, including the playoff, allowed 3 earned runs and 32 and 2/3 innings pitched. Only to be bombed out in the second game with 3-run 6 hits and 2 1/3 innings pitched of World Series game number 2. Very tough competitor. Hero of the 69 series. Comes back with another slow curve, fouled back. Still 2 strikes to Campaneris. On is Joe Rudy. Milner at first, Leon at second, Helson at short, Garrett the third baseman, a very ill Jones out in left field, Hahn in center, Staub behind the plate, and Grody is the catcher. As Koosman working fast comes back with a no. Another slow breaking ball, thrown by Garrett on the ground at third base and closing out. Milner fell off the bag but managed to keep his foot dragging across the bag for the out. 1 out. And that'll bring up Joe Rudy. Rudy 6 for 17. 353 in the series with 3 RBIs, and against Koosman on Sunday, 2 for 2. Jones lost one of his drives to left field for a win-aided and stun-aided double. With the sun being the paramount reason, Jones lost it. Wind is blowing toward right field. Koosman throws an off-speed pitch that misses outside. Against the Cincinnati Reds, when Koosman was so effective in the 9-2 win in the third game of the playoffs, their big hitters in the Cincinnati lineup, the first 5, Koosman worked almost exclusively with breaking pitches. When he got down to the 7, 8, 9 batters, came in with a fastball. There's the fastball to Rudy, and it's strike 1. Koosman had Campaneris behind 0-2, just missed with ball 1 to Rudy, and his fastball is right down the middle. He's around the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a balloon blows across the infield, and Herb Norton chases it down at the foul line, the third base coach. Strong winds, chilly temperatures. It'll be in the mid-40s before this game is over. Koosman ready, Rudy ready, and swings at a breaking pitch and fouls it toward the Oakland dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And so Koosman has been ahead of both Campaneris and now Rudy. 14-5 during the regular season. Jerry Koosman. Back in 1969, he was 2-0. Makes that 14-15. There's a pitch way up high, and that's the first time that Jerry has really been out of the strike zone, and he was way up high there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vida Blue has not won in a playoff or a World Series yet. He's tonight's pitcher for the Oakland A's. Back again with a breaking ball. Grounded again toward Garrett. Behind Garrett is Helson. The long throw from the hole. High off the back. Milner comes down. He's out. John Milner leaped high to get the throw and came right down on top of the bag and had Rudy by half a step. And there goes that Bud Helson again. Garrett cutting across. Helson going in the hole behind him, and with that rifle arm throwing him out. He and Campaneris have put on some show. 2 out of the scoreless first inning, and here's Sal Bando. 4 hits in 15 attempts. He had a triple in 2 attempts against Koosman in the second game. Big, strong right-handed hitter. 29 home runs, 98 RBIs during the regular season. Koosman throws him that breaking pitch outside, ball 1. Jerry started Campaneris with a fastball, but both Rudy and Bando, he went to a slow curve. Comes back in, the same pitching pattern as he showed Rudy, fastball, but this one misses. It's 2-0. Capacity crowd, it'll be well over 54,000 here tonight. The last World Series game in New York for this year. We go back to Oakland Saturday. The 2-0 count. Another breaking pitch stays high, 3-0. And after showing almost perfect control to the first two batters, Kuzman now has gone to 3-0 to Bando, and he takes a look down the third base coach of Norris. Back misses outside with a fastball, and on 4 pitches, Bando walks, and up comes Reggie Jackson. Jackson 5 for 18, 4 of those hits in one game. And against Jerry Kuzman, he failed to hit in 2 attempts. The American League's leading home run hitter with 32, leading RBI man with 117, stole 22 bases and hit 293. Strong contender for both Valuable Player awards during the regular season of 73. Left-handed batter. Kuzman pitching from the stretch, looking at Bando, throws. It's a strike on the outside corner. Reggie Jackson was quoted today as having said he was told by Mr. Charles Finley, owner of the Oakland A's, others may go, but Reggie, you will live and die in Kelly green and gold of Oakland A's. I'm not going to trade you. This is the same pitch outside, missing low and away. Kuzman will throw that slider low and away to the left-handed hitters. He got the first one in there and missed with the second. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. No score, top of the first. Bando, who walked on 4 pitches, is at first base with 2 outs. Kuzman ready, and again, this time it's a foul at the plate. Swinging foul by Jackson. Might have bounded off Brody as Jerry bends over for the moment, and Russ Getz, the American League umpire, walks out, gives him some time, and throws the new ball back to Jerry Kuzman. On deck is Dean Tennant. They play Jackson around to the right and very deep. The wind at this moment is blowing in. Jackson waits, sidearm fastball, just is down low. 2-2. Kuzman will drop down to about 3/4 to those left-handers. Oakland A's have not hit a home run throughout the entire World Series. A big surprise. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Missing outside again at 3-2. The last home run the A's had was by Campaneris in the playoffs. And by the way, the combined earned run average of the New York Mets against powerful Cincinnati in the National League Championship and powerful Oakland in the World Series is 167 earned run average. 1.67. 3-2, 2 out. Bando will be going. There he goes. Swing and a miss. Jackson strikes out to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and Bando left at first. We go to the last of the first. There's no score.
Well, the younger of the 2 left-handers, 24-year-old Vida Blue, who was the sensation of baseball, the award winner, most valuable player in the American League in 1971. This year, back to a 20-victory season after winning only 6 last year in a conflict-filled season. Vida ready to go at the New York Mets, hot ball club, and they've been getting some great starts in the first inning the last 2 or 3 games by Wayne Garrett, who's coming on to start now against Vida Blue.
One of Wayne Garrett's home runs was against Vida Blue. On Sunday, he was 1 for 3, a home run plus a walk. 256. Garrett's season-long average, 16 home runs, 58 RBI. Has 2 home runs in the World Series. No scores. We begin the last of the first inning. Neon is on deck to follow. Vida Blue looking for that first big win. He's a 20-game winner for the second time in his career, but looking for a series win. Starts him out with a fastball. Strike 1. Tennis at first, Green at second, Campaneris at short, Bando the third baseman. From left to right in the outfield, Rudy, Jackson, and Alou. Fosse behind the plate. Another fastball misses high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Garrett. Vida Blue gave up 4 runs on 4 hits in 5 1/3 innings. In that second game, working very hard and very quickly down. A fastball misses down low. He has thrown Garrett 3 fastballs. 2-1. Lifetime in the series, Blue has had a couple of starts, been in 5 games, allowed 8 runs and 12 hits. There's the strike. In 14 innings pitched. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Garrett. The teams will leave tomorrow. And so will we for the West Coast and Oakland, California for the Saturday and if need be Sunday afternoon game. 2-2 to Garrett. Blue now throws another fastball and strikes him out swinging. Well, Vida showed us a series of fastballs there and got Garrett swinging. That'll bring up Felix Leon. And Monte, you followed Vida Blue all year long, and in the late going, meaning in the playoffs and the championships, he has not gone the route.
He hasn't. I think he really had the stuff to have gone the distance in Baltimore, in the one game in Baltimore. He just made a badge or two against Baltimore in the one inning. He was throwing as well as he's thrown all year for 6 1/3 innings. You remember he walked Earl Williams and then got a bloop single, and then he just grooved one, and that was all over.
Here's Leon hitting the first pitch toward the first baseman. Tennis slips underhand to Blue, who's over there very quickly and alertly to cover the play. And on one pitch, Leon is out. And here comes Rusty Staub. 2 home runs last night, 5 RBIs. The most hits in the World Series, 7. And with that bad right shoulder after crashing into the right field wall here in New York in the National League Championship. Kept him out of the final game of the championship, the first game of the World Series, even though he was up at one time to pinch hit. Got in the second game and has been playing since. And has more hits than anybody else. Fastball down at the knees for a strike. And his home run last night on a pitch on the outside corner of the plate went to the opposite field, 370 feet away. Joe Rudy thought he had it all the while, but it went over the fence, fouled off. And now Blue is ahead of Staub, 0-2. We'll remind you again that the home runs that Rusty Staub has hit in the championship were off Grimsley and Gullett, left-handers, and last night off Holtzman of Oakland, a left-hander. So he's not been puzzled by left-handers. Left-handers have been puzzled by him. 2 out, no score last of the first. Fastball up high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On deck is Cleon Jones. Jones came to the ballpark very late this afternoon. Examined just before game time. Very weak from a 2-day bout with the flu, but is going to play. This ball bounces in front of the plate. Staub picks it up. Tried to turn that one over. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They have Theodore and Willie Mays and Cranepool. And Cleon Jones said, I'll take over in left field as long as I can go. Now the wind is blowing straight away towards center field. And now Staub steps out because the wind apparently has blown something in. Garrett led off the last of the first, striking out. Leon bounced out. They're playing Staub the other way. They hit the other way, figuring now he can't pull. Other days they've been playing him to pull. Up high with the fastball, despite the fact everybody knows his right shoulder has been hurt. After seeing that his base hits have all gone the other way, and even his outs have gone to shortstop or left field, the A's have reversed their strategy and have swung around to the opposite field. And now again, Staub asks for time and steps out. 3-2, 2 outs. Again, we look around Shea Stadium, and again, we don't see any empty seats. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Vida Blue ready and throws the fastball. Lined out to left field. Rudy doesn't have to go too far to haul in the line drive. And there goes Staub again, hitting the other way. The runs, hits, or errors done left at the end of 1 in the 5th game of the World Series. There is no score.
You know, in comparing the Mets pitching matchups with the A's in this series, been some very interesting ones. For instance, Catfish Hunter against Tom Seaver, both reputed to be among the best. 2 different types of pitchers, but both with great results. Hunter, breaking ball, controls that pitcher, and Seaver, a hard, fast one. Tonight we see that same kind of a matchup from the other side. Kuzman, good control pitcher, a lot of breaking balls. Vida Blue, just strictly power. Here we go in the 2nd inning once again, Jim.
Gene Tennis, right-handed hitting second baseman and catcher playing, or first baseman and catcher playing first base tonight. Leads it off, takes the fastball from Kuzman outside. I'm checking here. The New York Mets in Game 3 got off to a big start with 2 quick runs in the first inning, and last night got 3 runs. Tonight they got none in the first. This one back Tennis a little out of there, and he turns his head quickly to the side to avoid the high inside pitch. 2 balls, no strikes to Tennis. Who against Kuzman in the second game walked twice. Tennis, last year's hero, 9 RBIs, 4 home runs, is 3 for 12 this year. No score, top of the 2nd. This breaking pitch misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Kuzman, remember, walked Bando on 4 pitches. And his 4th pitch, he just aimed a fastball and missed. Tennis standing in, Kuzman ready. and throws right down the middle. And a breaking pitch at that. 3 balls, 1 strike. Jesus Salou is on deck. Kuzman, like Blue, working very fast. Another breaking pitch and another strike. Tennis started to walk toward first base. Their ball nicked the inside corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Herb Norton, the coach at third. Jerry Adair at first. Kuzman ready on 3-2, and there's a breaking pitch, and Norton jumps out of the way in the coaching box, eluding the foul ball. Monte Moore and I would like to say hello to all of you listening on American Forces Radio in Europe and South America, the Far Eastern Network, and in Japan. Hello from New York for Game 5 of the World Series. 3-2. Kuzman right back, took something off that, and Tennis is way out in front. Fouls it off into the A's dugout. 3-2. Last 2 pitches have been breaking balls. Tennis beginning to believe or wondering when and if Kuzman's going to throw him the fastball. Throws him another breaking pitch. Curveball strikes him out. Well, that was the pattern of Kuzman, as we showed you, against those Reds. When you got your big hitters up there, don't throw them the fastball. The Reds like the fastball, and so do the Oakland A's. Here's Jesus Salou. Alou was 2 for 2 against Kuzman in game number 2. 2 of his 3 hits in the series were against Jerry Kuzman. Big, tall right-hander hits the ball anywhere and with not much power. And is going through now his deep knee bends and calisthenics in the batter's box, as Jesus always does. Swings the bat, doesn't have a quiet bat at all, watches a change, float high, ball 1. Well, the scoreboard reads the same for both teams here in the second. Nothing, and nothing. We've had 1 base runner, he walked. Lou drops the bat again. As Kuzman started with one of those change-up breakings, he dropped the bat and stepped back and looked. It's 2-0. So Kuzman throws him the fastball and misses with this, then it's 3-0. He went to 3-0 on Tennis and then got him swinging. Now he's to 3-0 on Alou. Another curveball drops in there. Even on 3-0, Kuzman going to the curveball. Jerry is quite some competitor. He has been here before in the World Series. Comes back with another breaking ball. 1 big hop to Helson at shortstop, who throws him out for the second out. Well, how about that? Twice. Kuzman took Tennis and Alou to 3-0 and got them both easily. Ray Fosse, the catcher, stepped in. He walked and reached on an error against Kuzman in game number 2. 1 for 14. That is 1 hit last night. Right-handed hitter, former Cleveland pitcher, involved in a big play in an all-star game. He gets the breaking pitch down low, ball 1. But Pete Rose barreled into him, and he asked Ray Fosse even now, what was the highlight of your career? And he said, playing in that all-star game and having Pete Rose run into me at home plate. 1-0, another breaking pitch, and it's fouled off. Toward the A's dugout. Slow roller, 1 ball, 1 strike. One and one. Another breaking pitch. Line drive. 1 hop to Helson. He's got it. Takes a couple of steps. Goes on to Milner. And they got him in a row. 1, 2, 3. Down they go. At the end of 1.5. New York nothing and Oakland nothing.
At Shea Stadium in New York, World Series game number 5. This is Monte Moore with Jim Simpson. There's no score. The Mets are yet to bat in the second inning. Series is now a 2 out of 3 series. Out on the West Coast on Saturday, it'll be Catfish Hunter against Jim Seaver in another rematch. And if it goes to Sunday, probably Ken Holtzman for Oakland and John Matlack again for the New York Mets. Ready for the Mets to bat in the second. Cleon Jones comes on, and here's Jim.
And Jones waited until Vida Blue was almost through with his warm-up, just taking that last little extra bit of rest. This is the one who had the flu, was ill out in left field. In our first game here in New York, felt very badly last night, replaced by Theodore in the late innings, and now, despite the flu, feeling weak, he is in the lineup. He was 2 for 2, including a home run, plus a walk against Kuzman in game 2. 6 for 17, 353 his series average. Right-handed hitter with 11 home runs during the regular season. Vida Blue throws him a fastball too low, ball 1. Jones's home run off Vida Blue out at Oakland went to right field, down the right field line. He did not pull it at all. 1 ball, no strike. Blue, the left-hander, throws him another fastball. Line drive, left field. Back goes Joe Rudy. It's past him, bouncing off the wall. Rudy picks it down. Jones on his way to second base. The throw to the cutoff man. He's into the stand-up double. And Jones continues to hit Vida Blue. And that will bring up John Milner. Jones laced a line drive on one hop off the screen 358 feet away in left field. Augie Donatelli is coming over and saying something to Vida Blue, and it might be that Vida is going to his mouth while still on the mound.
I think what he's telling him, Jim, that on a cold night, the managers have agreed that it's all right for the pitchers to do that tonight. Ordinarily, they'd have to back off on the grass, but before the game, the managers agreed to let that go ahead and happen.
Here is Milner. 5 for 16, 1 for 3 against Vida Blue in their other meeting. We have no score, but the leadoff man, Jones, is at second base with a stand-up double. The New York Mets, the underdogs in the series as they were in 1969. They bluff. Jones back to second. Now in at the corner. Milner swings at a Blue fastball. Strike 1. And Fosse races to the mound. Jerry Grody is on deck. Well, the wind is so strong that all kinds of material is floating through the air. Bits of paper, balloons, napkins, wrappers from hot dogs. It almost looks like it's snowing in Shea Stadium. It's been going on like this since game time. Another fastball. This one at the knees. Strike 2. As a matter of fact, as it begins to float down, the wind catches it and it swirls back up again. We have no score. Man on and 0-2 to count to John Milner. Blue ready. Throws another fastball. Ground ball. Under the glove of Tennis. Jones comes around third base. Ball picked up by Alou. He goes to the cutoff man. 1-0 New York. Miracle continues in action. Again, they have scored first, and that brings up Jerry Grody. Vida Blue, in the first game of the playoffs, was bombed out with a 6-run first inning. In the fourth game, he worked 6 in the third innings, had a shutout going, and suddenly gave up 4 runs. Tonight, he is tagged early for back-to-back hits, a double by Jones, a single by Milner. Oakland infield looking for the double play. 1-0, last to the first. Last of the second, none out. Blue throws the fastball, drilled to center field. Jackson backs up a step or two, waits, and the towering fly ball comes down for out number 1. Grody hitting the first pitch to dead center field. Now Don Hahn. Hahn failed to hit against Blue, has only 3 hits in the entire game. World Series play. 18 times at bat, a 167 average. On with the closed stance. Tall, lanky, speedy right-handed hitter. And they play him to go the other way. Against the Blue fastball, and that's what he throws him, and he has him swinging. Strike 1.
Jim, I was watching the A's dugout when Milner got that base hit, and Dick Williams jumped right up off the bench and ran down into the runway. Vida really made a bad pitch on a no-ball, 2-strike count, completely against all their scouting reports.
Strike 1, fouled with the screen. It's strike 2. 0-2 to Hahn. And as Monte pointed out, it was 0-2 to Milner when Blue came in with the pitch that Milner was able to pull right past Tennis at first base. DM throws the fastball way high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, we'll report tonight that most of the spectators here, and we are loaded with spectators, are dressed for winter. Temperature dipping into the 40s. They've got their top coats, raincoats. 1-2, 1 out, 1-0. Last of the second. Blue throws another fastball. Grounded toward Bando. Under his glove. Over to Campaneris to second base. And they got him at second base with the fourth play. On safe at first. Here comes Bud Harrelson, 6 for 15. This little fellow is making all the plays that Campaneris is and vice versa. And Harrelson has got 6 hits, hitting .400 in the series. Against Blue, last Sunday, he was 0 for 2 and struck out once. The Mets have scored first in all of their 3 games played here at Shea Stadium. Conversely, the A's scored first in the 2 games out in Oakland. Blue ready, looking over at Hahn with 2 out now and a run in. Fastball is high. Ball 1. Dick Green leads off the Oakland third. Blue is on deck. As there's a strike on the outside corner from Jerry Kuzman, who struck out Green twice. The last time he faced him in the World Series, Green has been up 7 times. Pitches inside, ball 1. 0 for 7 has been batted for in every game and has struck out 5 of the 7 times he's been up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kuzman throws him the fastball down low, 2-1. 1-0 to score. Last of the second inning, Cleon Jones. Everybody was wondering whether he would play because of the flu. He is playing, double to left, and was singled home by Milner. Drive toward center field. Over to his right goes Don Hahn, waiting in the wind now, and has it for the first out of the Oakland third. Green flies to center. And that'll bring up Vida Blue. Vida Blue, not known as one of the great hitters, one of the good hitters, one of the fair hitters in baseball. As a matter of fact, in one year, 1971, Vida Blue, and remember how many times the pitcher gets up. Vida struck out 63 times. Right-handed pitcher takes low from Kuzman. 1-0. 1 ball, no strike. Kuzman ready, throws again, strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. The banners, the pennants that the Mets display around the stadium are being whipped by the wind. Another pitch, swing and a miss by Vida Blue. That's 1 ball, 2 strikes. 341 down each foul line, but then you've got to go over a 10-foot wall beyond that. This is a big ballpark. 4-10 straight away. Strike 3, Blue strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for Jerry Kuzman. And that'll bring up Campaneris, who bounced to third in the first inning. The power alleys, 371 and 396 in both left and right. It just floats away to that 410 dead center field. First pitch to Campaneris, ball 1. Russ gets behind the plate. Harry Wendelstedt of the National League at first. Marty Springstead of the American League at second. Augie Donatelli of the National League at third. Jerry Neudecker of the American League down the left field line. Paul Pryor of the National League down the right field line. There's another called strike. It can't be Campaneris. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Rudy stands on deck. Another pitch, hit off the fist. A little looper. Harrelson goes back beyond him at second base, and Campaneris reaches with a little, almost broken bat. He certainly hit it off the fist. Texas leaguer just out in the short center field. And that's the first hit of Jerry Kuzman, the second base runner, in this 1-0 ball game. And here is Joe Rudy. Sal Bando was saying before the very first game, I'm going to pick a hero for the World Series, and it's going to be one of ours. Last year was team tennis. It's going to be Joe Rudy. Well, Rudy had 3 RBIs, 6 for 17, a .353 average. And he has made some outstanding defensive play. There's the pickoff play, and Campaneris back at first base. Cappy was never at first base against Kuzman in that second game. He had a triple, but was never at first base to be able to read the move of Jerry Kuzman. So he's experimenting and takes a pretty good lead. Breaking pitch, Brody throws behind him down to first base safe. Campaneris might have had a base stolen. He started trying to read Kuzman's move. Kuzman came home, and Cappy took a half a step and then retreated quickly. He was so far off the bag that Brody had a chance to get him at first base, and very nearly did. 1-0 to Rudy. Rudy was thrown out on a good play by Harrelson in the second inning. Campaneris taking that lead again, trying to get in scoring position so Rudy can drive him in. There's the play, and he's going to be picked off. Got him looking the wrong way. Campaneris did not read Jerry Kuzman at all. Fooled twice, the second time it cost him. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left. We go to the last of the third, 1-0 New York.
Windelstedt, the first base umpire, and challenging Jerry Kuzman balked, and taking a look at the videotape replay in slow motion, his foot, the front foot, definitely came towards home plate. Campaneris was nailed completely at the bag, but you can see why if you see the replay, because Kuzman either has a super move. Now Dick Williams is going to the home plate umpire, Russ Getz, and he thinks Getz should have called the balk also.
Also, he's shifting from a National League umpire that's been watching Kuzman all season long to an American League umpire to say, hey, call it like it is in the American League. Kuzman has been accused of this before. And guess who's stepping to the plate? Jerry Kuzman. 0 for 1 in the World Series game Sunday afternoon. And he has a 1-0 lead on the double by Jones to lead off the second and the run-scoring single by John Milner. We are Vida Blue to throw to Kuzman, and there's a fly ball foul down the right field line, dropping into the stands about 12 rows deep. On deck is the leadoff batter, Wayne Garrett. Vida Blue staring in. Strangely enough tonight, there's been no activity in either bullpen thus far. Fastball is up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitchers have been pitching well, but that in itself is a strange occurrence on both sides, as no pitcher has completed the ball game yet, nor did they all last year in the Oakland-Cincinnati World Series. There's a swinging strike, too, and 31 pitches have been used until tonight in the World Series. 31 in the first 4 games. So those bullpens have been very active. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blue back with another fastball and strikes him out with a high swinging strikeout. Strikeout number 2. Struck out Garrett, who's coming up to bat right now to lead off the first inning. Garrett with those 2 home runs in World Series play. Nobody was on either time, but he certainly ignited a rally 2 nights ago against Catfish Hunter. Left-hander to left-hander, and the fastball is up high, ball 1. Well, can you imagine on Saturday afternoon a rematch of Tom Seaver and Catfish Hunter? And then if we go to Sunday, John Matlack and Ken Holtzman again. 1 ball, no strike, fastball, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. And as Monte pointed out, the feeling of the Oakland players is, let's get this man Kuzman tonight, because we've got Mr. Terrific Tom Seaver and John Matlack if we go to Sunday. Let's get the edge tonight. We'll need it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back again. Swinging strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The air has died for the moment, and thus the debris that's been flying through the air has disappeared for the moment. Playing Garrett, of course, to pull to right. Vida Blue back with the foul. Misses high. 2-2. Felix Beyond on deck. You keep waiting for the key play, not a key base hit or a fine pitching performance, but the way these teams have been going, there's a fastball that misses at 3-2. Someone has made the key error that has opened the door in every game thus far played. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Garrett with 1 out in the third. Out of blue back, throws in the fastball and gets the call, strike three. Garrett knew it, walked it away. The ball popped out of Fosse's glove, and Garrett wasn't running. He allowed himself to be tagged, and that was it. Leon bounced back to tennis, blue covered, and was tossed out, swinging at the first pitch back in the first inning. Leon was 0 for 3 against Vita Blue Sunday. Blue is ready and throws inside. Ball one. Temperature at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, that's 10 minutes ago here in New York, was 50 degrees, so it hasn't dropped yet into the 40s. Fastball catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. But it will. And the wind is blowing, so the chill factor must be well down. Another high fastball. And now the airplanes that have been flying over here in lights spelling out "Let's Go Mets" tonight fly over with "You Gotta Believe," which of course is the Mets.
We're getting ready to go into the top half of the fourth inning of a very fast-moving ball game. The Oakland A's, who have not hit well in the series at all, had only 1 hit tonight. They had only 3 for the entire game last night. 2 hits, and they put them back-to-back for their only run of the game, and it's 1-0 New York.
Joe Rudy, who was at bat when Campaneris was picked off first base in the third inning, comes up to lead off the fourth. Rounded out to Harrelson, made a good play on him back in the first inning. 1-0. Kuzman throws, and Rudy takes inside. During the regular season, the home run totals of Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando, and Gene Tennis totaled 85 for the three. The Mets as a team had 85 home runs. Yet in the World Series, the Mets have out-homered the A's, who have none. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside, Kuzman misses. 2-0. Which should tell you something. As we said, everybody said the big red machine of Cincinnati would mow them down. Oakland's got a powerful swinging club, and they do. Both teams do. But the combined earned run average, as we said before, against Cincinnati and Oakland since the playoffs began, 1.67. That is some pitching. 2-0. Drive hit off the fist and out toward right field. Leon circles back on the grass near Staub and takes it for the first out. And maybe it's the way hitters talk, but all the Cincinnati hitters and some of the Oakland hitters that I've talked to all say the same thing. The Mets pitching just isn't that superb. Their hitters are out hitting us. But the fact remains, the Cincinnati and Oakland hitters have yet to solve this Mets task. May before it's all over. Sal Bando walked on 4 pitches back in the first, up for the second time. Kuzman throws him a strike to the knee. Strike 1 to Sal Bando. Kuzman ready, throws him an off-speed pitch. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets have their 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. Oakland has no runs with 1 hit. That was Campaneris' Texas leaguer, and no errors. Pitch on another changeup. Bounced off the high glove and pulled down by 1 barehanded drive by Harrelson, but too late. Garrett went for it, looked like he had it all the way, and it took a crazy hop up off his glove. Harrelson leaped behind him and came down with it in his bare hand, but by that time, Bando was across the bag. And that'll bring up Reggie Jackson, and we keep looking to see whether it's a hit or an error. 2-0. 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2
Jim, I believe if Harrelson hadn't have gotten that ball cleanly, Bando could have made it to second because Jones was watching the play in left field, and it would have gone down the line a little ways.
Reggie Jackson struck out. It is a hit. Jackson lays off a off-speed breaking pitch, ball one. Well, the two hits off Kuzman thus far, Texas League single to short center, and a bouncer off the glove that took a weird hop, the glove of Wayne Garrett. Swing and a miss by Reggie Jackson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jackson struck out swinging on a 3-2 count on a Kuzman fastball to end the first with Bando at first base. Now he's got Bando at first base with 1 out here in the fourth. Kuzman throws him an off-speed pitch. Changed just a little bit. Jackson held up and it's called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The wind has sprung up again, this time blowing toward left. It'll do anything. Kuzman ready. Line drive on 1 hop to the yard. Over to second to Helson. Back to first base. Double play. No runs, 1 hit. No errors and none left. To the last of the fourth we go. The New York Mets won. The Oakland A's, nothing.
With Jim Simpson in New York, the Mets lead the Oakland A's 1-0. This is Game 5 of a tied-up World Series. Vida Blue against Jerry Kuzman. The A's so far, no runs and 2 hits. The Mets 1 run and 2 hits.
Rusty Staub. Up in Montreal, he was the darling Legrand Orange, and down here in New York, he has become the darling this year. Hurt last year in his first year with the Mets. Had a bad hand injury. Held him off much of this year from being totally effective, but in the late part of the season and in the playoffs and now in the World Series, Staub has been something else. He worked Blue to a 3-2 count in the first inning and then lines to Joe Rudy in left field. Blue throws him a fastball, a strike, and a good-looking fastball. Strike to Staub. Rusty will not wear a long-sleeved undershirt under that blouse of his. I don't care how cold it gets. Pitches outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Everywhere else you look, all of the players have that undershirt, but Staub, no. Considering he was born and raised in New Orleans, run pretty good. Of course, he was up in Montreal. There's a hard curve or slider, it looks like.
Vida throws a hard curve once in a while. He quit throwing the slow one. He was really getting hurt with it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, I guess, Monte, that Rusty learned not to wear the jersey up in Montreal. This is fouled back and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets lead it 1-0. We're in the fourth.
People have been commenting the last couple of days what it would have been like had Montreal have won the National League Championship. These night games would have been played up there. I don't know what the temperature is like up there right now, but there would have been a good possibility it might have been a little cooler than this.
Well, they tell me had Minnesota won it, and they've been playing tonight, it would have been 18 degrees. 1-2. Blue throws fastball, and boy, Staub just could get a piece of that. He was bailing out, swinging all at the same time. The ball was in on him, and he just fouled it off the handle of his bat. Still 1-2. Well, the press will take off 3 hours after game time tonight and fly back to the West Coast. But the teams will wait until tomorrow. 1-2. Fastball misses, just misses inside. 2-2. Kneeling on deck is Cleon Jones, who doubled the lead off the second and scored the game's only run. Lou Reddy throws him another fastball, misses outside, and he's gone to 3-2 on Staub here in the fourth, as he did in the first. And again, we'll report that the A's are playing Rusty to hit the other way, toward left. Comes back, and he hits toward left. Line drive past the glove of Campaneris. I thought Campy would have it, but it curved away from his glove for a base hit, and Staub has hit number 8. Don't you think he is not a leading contender for the most valuable player in this World Series? 5 RBIs and now 8 hits. Valuable player in this World Series. 5 RBIs and now 8 hits. And here is Jones, who doubled and scored the game's only run. Three hits now for the Mets, 2 for the A's. None out in the 4th inning. And just as though you're at a football stadium, the baseball fans here in New York say, "Let's go Mets." They have cheers, fastball, swing and a miss. Strike one. Russ Getz takes time to dust off the plate. Shea Stadium is almost on LaGuardia Airport property. But during the final game of the National League Championships and for all the World Series games, the planes are going the other way, diverted away from a landing pattern that virtually brings them in the stadium. Fastball is too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are many occasions here in New York at Shea Stadium that you can hardly hear yourself think, not because of the fans, but because of the roar of jet engines. 1-1. Staub, ball lead off first base. Blue takes a look at him. Throws a fastball right back to the middle. That's a base hit. Staub on his way around second base, and now, in deference to Reggie Jackson's good arm in short center field, stops right there. Well, there are 2 of those base hits that you might say had eye. One was a line drive right for the glove of Campaneris and suddenly hooked away from it. And this one was a bouncer that just eluded Campaneris going towards second base. Runners at first and second, and John Milner, who had the 0-2 count and ripped a single to right to score Jones back into second, is up again. Nobody yet throwing in the Oakland bullpen. None out in the 4th. 1-0 to score. Milner has home run power. Hit 23 during the regular season. Has 5 hits. Makes that 6 hits in the series. Fastball, too low. Ball 1. Ray Fosse walks out.
They just sent Raleigh Fingers out of the Oakland dugout, Jim. They can go to the bullpen. Raleigh's been in the A's dugout here with the players, and I guess there's a runway that goes back under the stands, and he's the man who's going to be going to work out there.
Well, he is not considered necessarily a long man, is he, Monte? It would seem to me that they want this game and want it badly.
Right. You put out the fire when the fire starts, but he has gone as much as 6 2/3 innings in a game this year before.
1-0 is our score. Bando even with the bag. Kenneth doesn't have to hold on Jones at first with Staub down at second. Green and Campaneris looking for the double play. Fastball, strike at the knee. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gary Grody on deck. The Mets want this game as much as the A's do because they've got to go back to Oakland. Admittedly, with Seaver and Matlack, but on foreign ground. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looking for the bunt now. It is bunted. Picked up by Blue. Goes to third base. Got the force out of third base. Ball was not a good bunt. It was not bunted down on the ground rolling, but rather kind of a pop bunt that took 1 hop. And Blue picked it up and had plenty of time to throw in a Bando at third base. So Jones is now down at second base. Milner on at first, and with 1 out, here is Grody, who in the second inning hit the first pitch and flied to Jackson in straightaway center field. 1-1, 4 hits now for New York. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the A's in the 4th inning. Blue from the stretch. Ready throws to Grody. Half check swing. Fosse holds the ball like, isn't it over anyway? And Russ Getz apparently says, no, it's not, Ray. That's ball 1. Well, here in New York, Tom Seaver was taken with a 2-run lead in the first inning. John Matlack a 3-run lead in the first inning. Kuzman a 1-run lead in the second inning, and they're trying to get him more. 1-0 to Grody. Down low. 2-0. Fingers throwing in the Oakland bullpen. Don Hahn on deck. They play Grody not to get her out on the blue fastball. Swung around toward right. Blue looks, now throws. Hit high down the right field line in foul territory. Tennis back may have a play, does have a play, and takes it for the second out. Brody fouls out to Gene Tennis, the first baseman. And now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Don Hahn. And Fossey walks over by Blue to say something to him. Bando walks out to Blue. He is their team leader. He reminds them of the scouting report. He keeps them on their toes. Sal Bando. It is 1-0. Staub and Jones led off with base hits. Milner tried to bunt them around, but Blue threw out Staub going to third. Horsby. Brody is now fouled out. And here's Hahn, who hit into a forced play back in the second inning. Has 3 base hits in the series. 3 for 19. Blue throws him a fastball strike. Ryder Blue goes right to work on Don Hahn, who had 229 during the regular season. Fossey walks up to say something to Blue. Eddie Yost coaching at third base for the Mets. Roy McMillan at first.
What he might have said then, Jim, is he had that pitch really in a spot where they don't want to throw to this guy.
On waits. Blue is now ready. Another fastball fouled back. This was up in and on Hahn, and he fouled it back. 2 strikes. Well, it is some sight to be in mid-October in New York, in Shea Stadium, and have an absolute packed house of more than 54,000 and a World Series that's tied up at 2 games apiece, with the Mets leading in the 5th game 1-0. 0-2 to Hahn, foul to the screen, and he just got a piece of it. Bud Harrelson is on deck. The wind and the fans have taken away much of the bunting that was here when Game 3 began on Tuesday night. This is the last World Series in New York this year, last World Series game. Fastball is too high. As we move on to finish up out in Oakland, California. Fossey walks out again. Fossey had the pleasure this year of catching not 1, not 2, but 3 20-game winners. Catfish Hunter, Ken Holtzman, and Vida Blue. All are different. Blue ready again. Throws. Ground ball. Campaneris has it go up. It picks it up. Everybody's safe. Hard hit. Campaneris rooted the ball with a chance to end the inning. And everybody is safe. Leads off the 5th against Jerry Kuzman, who throws him that big, slow curve. Boy, Kuzman really loves to go to work on the big hitters with that breaking stuff rather than the fastball. Comes back with another one. Swing. Strike 2. In the second inning, Kuzman couldn't find the reins initially, went to 3-0, and then struck out Tennis on a curveball, swinging. Now he's 0-2 and throws him another one. That Tennis leans across the plate, almost went for it. Was out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You're going to have to hit a good curveball if you're going to hit it out of here against Kuzman. Comes back with another one. Grounded foul towards third base. Backhanded there by Wayne Garrett. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matlack and Seaver are known as power pitchers. Kuzman has all the power in the world, too. Not as much as he had in 1969 when he won 2 games, but still plenty, but goes to that big curve. Now he throws the fastball. It misses inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Mets got their 1 run in the second inning on a leadoff double by Cleon Jones and a single on an 0-2 count by John Milner. They threatened again in the last of the 4th. Another breaking pitch stays inside, and he's gone to 3-2. To Tennis again. On the second inning, on a 3-2 count, he threw him a beautiful curve, and Dean struck out swinging. He remembers that. Kuzman remembers that. Let's watch. He throws him the curveball, pops it up, foul out of play. Still 3-2. Wind is now blowing in. Kuzman ready and throws him a pitch that is too low. Ball 4. And Jerry Kuzman has issued his second walk. And the 4th open A reaches base. Jesus Alou, who also went to 3-0 before grounding to Helton at shortstop, back in the second inning, is up. Alou is 3 for 15 in the series. Remember, he was 2 for 2 against Jerry Kuzman in game number 2 of the World Series. Mets lead it by 1. Top of the 5th. Fastball pops up. Brody behind the plate, tosses away his mask. Has plenty of room and has the ball. 1 off. That'll bring up Ray Fosse. 1 for 15 in the series. Got a base hit last night in the top of the 5th to lead it off. Looking down to Irv Norn. Green is out on deck. By this time, usually in the World Series, just been batted for. The pitch to Fosse, strike at the knees, and Ray turns around and looks at Russ Gibbs, the American League umpire. Hahn respects Fosse, plays him very deep, as does Jones and left. They play him straight away. Breaking pitch misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kuzman, born in Minnesota, now lives in Morris, Minnesota. His opposite number, Vita Blue, born and lives in Mansfield, Louisiana. 1-1. Kuzman ready, throws in the big curve again, fouled, and goes into the A's dugout. 1-2. Mets lead by a run in the top of the 5th. The A's trying to get something going. They haven't had much going since Tuesday night. Pitches inside, under the hand. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They lost 6-1 last night with just 3 hits. They had no runs tonight with just 2 hits. Two to Fosse. Pickoff play at first base. Diving back is Tennis, who wasn't very far off the bag. Nevertheless, he took a headlong dive. Tennis only attempted to steal 4 times during the regular season. Foul out of play by Fosse. Off to the right. Kuzman ready and throws too low, and it's 3-2. With 1 out, 3-2. We'll see whether or not Tennis is going. Kuzman looks toward him. He is on his way, and the ball is hit down the line. Foul into the right field seat. So they were running Dean Tennis with just 1 out and a count of 3-2. Dennis has a fair lead even now. He's on his way again. The ball is hit out to right center field, falling toward Mian over the head. Turns, spins, throws to first base. Is up the line. Milner dives back. He's safe at first base. Almost a sensational double play. Mian made a duplicate of the Willie Mays catch in that he caught it over his head going away from the plate. Remember that great Mays catch? Then he turned it off balance, throwing one hop to Milner. Had to come up the line to get it. He dove toward the plate, but Dennis got by. The difference between a Texas League single, 1 out, and 2 out, and 1 on still at first base was a great play by Felix Mian. Now here's Green, who flied to center in the third inning. 1-0, New York leads it. We're in the top of the fifth. Kuzman, after a long wait, now is ready to throw to Green, and his pitch is way up high. Ball 1. Well, after the fast starts of the Mets last night and the night before, the Mets fans expected the same tonight. They haven't got it. They got the lead, but it's just 1-0. We're in anybody's ball game. Again, center field. Don Hahn drifts over, straightaway center field, waits, and has the ball. And it's a 1-2-3 inning thanks to Felix Mian. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the leadoff man, Kennedy, walks left on base. At the end of 4.5, New York 1 and Oakland nothing. Hello again from New York, Jim Simpson with Monte Moore. The Oakland A's have yet to get a man as far as second base. The New York Mets have had several as far as second base and have the game's only run. Cleon Jones led off with a double in the second inning and scored on John Milner's single. They had Vida Blue and the A's in trouble in the fourth, but he got out of it with some fine pitching, retiring Bud Held. So it's 1-0 New York as we go to the last of the fifth, and we come back to Monte Moore.
Okay, Jim, and Kuzman is the batter against Vida Blue, who hasn't walked anybody. He struck out 3, and the Mets have the 4 hits. Here's Vida's first pitch of the inning, and it's a strike. 2 of the Mets' 4 base hits have been off Vida's hard-breaking pitch. He calls it a slurve. It's right between a curve and a slider. There's a fastball swung on and missed, strike 2. Garrett and Mian will follow, and what a play by Felix Mian. It could have saved a big inning. Vida's 0-2 pitch. Fouled upstairs here at Shea Stadium. The Mets got there, and in the second inning, a leadoff double by Cleon Jones ripped hard to the left field wall. Then, with a no-ball, 2-strike count, Milner got a pitch he could pull and threaded it through the right side of the infield. The pitch to Kuzman is thrown right by him. It's the Blue Blazer leading him up there, and that's the 4th Vida Blue strikeout of the night. 1 down in the 5th. Here's Wayne Garrett. Now, instead of a statistical look at Vida Blue's season, in his last 5 starts of the regular season, he was scored on in only 1 game, yet he wasn't striking out very many. And he, of course, was a strikeout pitcher with over 300 2 years ago. Garrett takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Vida struck Garrett out twice in this game. Some balloon benders doing pretty well in this ballpark, only most of them are ending up out on the field. Vida missed it outside with a pitch. It's the ball on a strike. Wayne Garrett, he's number 11 for New York, and here's a 1-1 pitch to him. Up high, ball 2. The home run he hit off Vida Blue was on a fastball, and it was right down the middle. Bell tie. 2-1 pitch. A little high. He's 3-1 on him. Garrett hoping for a walk tonight. He's having a hard time picking up Vida's fastball, and if Vida will put him on free of charge, that'll be just fine for Garrett. Now the young lefty comes in there, and it is a strike call. Garrett looks as if he'd just been struck in the back with a dull knife. He didn't like that call at all by Russ Getz. 3-2 again. Walked him this time, ball 4. So the Mets get a man on with 1 out, and here's Felix Millan, one of the best bat handlers in the National League. Getting a great round of applause for his outstanding play on the blooper hit on a hit-and-run play by Ray Fosse. Oh, he went a long ways with that ball and actually collided with Rusty Staub, the right fielder, just about the time he threw it. Now Garrett has asked for time at first base, and he's talking to his first base coach, Ron McMillan, acting as if he had some sand in his eyes, but I would imagine that he saw some sign he didn't recognize and said, hey, wait a minute. Did I see this or didn't I? He gets a good lead. Here's a pitch. Pitch out, and it's a wild pitch all the way into the stand area. Vida Blue on a pitch out, threw the ball over the catcher's head. He saw the same thing that I saw, and Garrett going back to ask about a sign, and they became suspect and pitched out. Only thing is, Vida Blue pitched too far out. Now the Mets have 2 shots with Leon and Staub to get another run. Well, how often do you see that? Wes Stock is going out to talk to Vida now. He's the Oakland A's pitching coach. Has a burning desire to win this game tonight, as I'm sure Jerry Koosman does, but Vida has never won a World Series game. He's never won a playoff game. He was a winning pitcher in an All-Star game for the American League, the last one the American League won. One ball and no strikes on Felix Millan with a runner at second. Here's the pitch. Check swing, bouncing ball right side of the infield. Gene Tennis, the first baseman, has it and goes for the out. Moving over to third on the play is Garrett. And here is Rusty Staub. He's on top of the town in the big city. Rusty with a line drive out to left field in the first inning and a single in the fourth. His hit then to left field is shots here in this game. The last time that Rusty was up, they had 2 strikes on him, and they got him throwing inside. Vida threw the next one, and it was on a 3-2 count. He had to give in a little bit and threw it right over the middle of the plate, and Rusty drilled it. Off the windup, here comes the pitch. Strike call. The A's would like to keep the ball inside on Staub, down.
Hello again from New York. Jim Simpson with Monte Moore. And again, we have now gone through 5 full innings. They've been working on the groundskeepers, and again, we'll repeat what the score is. It is 1-0. With the situations that it is the Mets who've had all the scoring opportunities, taking advantage of the first one in the second inning after the Jones double. Milner drove him home with a single. Then they had back-to-back base hits in the fourth inning. Had the bases loaded with 2 outs before Harrison popped out. Garrett walked, was wild pitch to second, moved to third, but Staub couldn't bring him home. As for the A's, they haven't had a man as far as second base. Vida Blue leads off the 6th. It's 1-0. Here's Monte.
Lou Campaneris and Rudy will bat for Oakland, at least here in the sixth inning, and Jerry Koosman, working on a shutout, throws. Vida takes a strike, taking a bunt. Vida runs pretty well, and when pitchers were hitting in the American League regularly for themselves, he used to bunt quite a bit. Pitch to him, swung on and fouled off. Strike two. Koosman started 35 times for New York this year, and he finished what he started 12 times. That's how many complete games he had. 0-2 pitch. Vida down swinging, and Koosman gets his fourth strikeout there. It's one out in the sixth inning. Here's Bert Campaneris. The A's road-running shortstop got a single in the third inning and was picked off by Koosman at first base. The pitch to Campy is outside, ball one. The A's screamed balk as Koosman got that front foot. Instead of pointing it over towards first as he threw the ball, he had it down towards home plate. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Campaneris takes a strike. Once in a while, Koosman can really pop that fastball, and he gets it in on you pretty easily. One impressive factor about the Mets pitching staff, you have to earn everything you get. All of their pitchers have good control. They very rarely ever give you anything. Koosman tonight has walked only two. The Campaneris at a breaking ball outside, 2-1. If the pitchers aren't giving you much, it takes a lot of base hits to score many runs. 2-1 delivery. Fouled off. Comes right back onto the screen and rolls back down to the playing surface. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The series moves out to the West Coast to Oakland for Saturday and Sunday games. Sunday if needed. 2-2 pitch to Campaneris. Up high, ball 3. And there are some 2,000 tickets left for sale at the Oakland Coliseum for Saturday and Sunday ball games. They can be picked up at the Oakland A's ticket office on the Coliseum level anytime tomorrow, 9 to 5. 3-2 to Campaneris. Ball 4, he walks it. So Campaneris will get another look at Jerry Koosman's best pickoff move. In a one-run ball game, Campaneris, who led the American League in stolen bases 5 out of 6 years, is definitely a threat to go. This year, another Oakland A's player who is not in the playoffs or the World Series, Billy Norris, the center fielder, led the league in stolen bases from the opening day until 13 days from the end of the season, when he tore some ligaments in his ankle on a freak play at first base in Minnesota. And then Tommy Harper, the Boston Red Sox, saw that he had a chance to win that big trophy that goes with it and the $500 cash award, and Tommy went off like a streak in the last 2 weeks and won it by 1 stolen base over the injured Billy Norris. Campaneris at 34 for the year. Here is Joe Rudy, 0 for 2 tonight. Koosman's done a good job on him. Throw to first base. Campy's back in there. It's going to be mighty hard to get a jump on Koosman. He appears to have the best move to first base of any of the Mets pitchers. He comes to the plate. Rudy takes up high. Rudy had a home run in the World Series last year. He hit it in Cincinnati. Oakland still has not hit a home run in this World Series, and this is the 5th game. Throw to first base. Koosman looks to the plate, but throws to first. Campaneris has stolen 3 bases in the series. Rudy lays the bat right on his right shoulder. Koosman to first base again. Campaneris slides in there. In a tense moment, in the 7th game of the World Series last year, John Odom of Oakland threw to first base 8 straight times trying to get Joe Morgan. Finally, Morgan took off running, and catcher Dave Duncan threw him out at second. The pitch to Rudy. High pop-up behind the plate. It may be a play for Jerry Godey. He's holding up. He's got it. Campanera tags at first, but he's not going to second. Rusty Staub, the right fielder, comes in from right field to cover first base in behind Campanera, but Campy got back. With the catcher making a catch by the screen, the first baseman Milner went out on the mound to cut off any throw by the catcher. Campanera went halfway down to second. Rusty Staub came all the way in from right field to cover first base and try to pick Campanera off. Now there are two down, and here is Sal Bando. Newsman just got a big out in getting the hot-hitting Joe Rudy. The throw to first. Campanera makes it back standing up this time. Bando has walked and singled in the game. It's 1-0 New York leading. To the plate with a pitch. Bando pops it. What a cut he had on that pitch. It wouldn't take too much of an extra base hit to score Campanera. With two down, he would have his head down and be running on anything. He wouldn't have to wait to see if it were going to be caught. So Bando is after the long one here. One strike count. Kuzman goes to first again, and Campanera is back in there. Another throw to first. A little better move this time. Campy beats it back again. Dick Williams up on the top step of the Oakland dugout to watch Kuzman's move now. Here's a pitch. Bando swings through a fastball, missing strike two. Gary Kuzman with a count of no balls and two strikes on Sal Bando with two down, and Campanera at first base. Campy gets a big lead, draws a throw. 3 steps, puts him back in on the bag. With the runner at first, Kuzman stands with his right foot a little behind the left one. Here's a throw to first again. If he ever takes that right leg behind the pitcher's rubber in the middle of his motion back, he's got to go to the plate. He can't take it behind the rubber and go to first. The pitch to the plate. It is up high, says the plate umpire, and he appeals at the first base umpire, and he agrees. Bando started a swing, but didn't let it go. Gary Godey asked the plate umpire to appeal to the first base umpire, and he did. And he said no swing. Now the throw to first. Campanera stops back in the bag. Kuzman down to the waist. The pitch. Bando hits one foul off the left field line. Kuzman pulled up on him that time a little bit on the speed department, and Bando was out front and jerked it off the end of the crowd on the left side.
Monte, in fairness, we must report, and looking at the instant replay, it looked to us as though Bando had gone around. Maybe it'll be a harmless moment, but it could be costly.
Here's the pitch to Bando. Slow curve, and it's just outside. Ball 3, and he had Bando fooled. If that ball were over the plate, Bando had had it. He had that bat back and couldn't have pulled the trigger. So the count rides along at 2-2 as Campanera, away from first base, is holding the pitch. Bando hits the grounder to third, right off the foot of Garrett. He's not going to get anybody. The ball did not come up for Wayne Garrett, the third baseman. It stayed right down on the ground and hit him on the feet. Speed right at his feet, and the A's now gets the door knocked open, and here is Reggie Jackson, who has been long, long overdue to do something with the bat in this series. It's an error on Wayne Garrett, the Met third baseman. Garrett got caught in between there a little bit. He didn't know whether to come in on the ball or go back on it. That's the first Oakland runner that has been in scoring position in this game as far as second base. Reggie Jackson, a strikeout victim in the first inning, and he ripped one hard, but right on one hop to the second baseman in the fourth inning, it was turned into a double play. Campaneris, the runner at second. The Mets play Jackson, swung away around to the right side. Kuzman at the belt. Here's his pitch to Jackson. Curveball outside. It's 1-0. Reggie Jackson had one of his biggest series of the season at Yankee Stadium in New York against the Yankees this year. But here at Shea Stadium, he has done very little. It's 1-0, New York leading. Top of the sixth inning. Kuzman takes too long, and Jackson, who doesn't like to wait at that plate very long when he gets set, asks for time. Now everybody's ready, and Kuzman delivers. Jackson check swing foul ball. It goes into the left field stands, out of play. Reggie tried to peel away from a high inside pitch. He left the bat up there, and the ball hit it. One ball, one strike count. There are two down, and there are two on. Veteran left-hander Jerry Kuzman throws to Jackson. Ground ball to the shortstop. Harrelson playing in perfectly. Steps on second and forces out Bando. Reggie Jackson hit another rocket, but the Mets scouting report has him zeroed perfectly. Bud Harrelson, the shortstop, behind second base, fielded the hard grounder and stepped in the bag to force Bando, and still the Mets won and the A's nothing. Top of the sixth inning here in chilly, New York, as the temperature now has gone into the 40s, as Cleon Jones came late to the ballpark with the flu, had to leave early from the game last night, and actually was ill in left field on Tuesday night. But tonight, he's doing something right. He is doubled and has been driven home as the game's only run. Then later, he singled in the fourth. He's 2 for 2 and leads off the Mets 6. Monte? Rhino Blues giving up 4 hits in the game. He'll face 2 of the men who have gotten 3 of them in this inning. And here's the first one, Cleon Jones. Boy, that Bud Harrelson just continues to be one of the stars of this series. He's got to be in the right place, and he was definitely down on Reggie Jackson. Bida starts Jones off with a fastball, knee-high strike on the outside corner. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Line drive to deep left field. Joe Rudy's going back at the wall. He makes another unbelievable catch. Joe Rudy makes a backhanded leaping catch, crashes into the fence in left field, holds on as he falls over. The Mets fans, 54,000 strong, are standing as Joe Rudy has just done it again. They're racing out to see if he's all right. He apparently is all right, and we'll be back after this pause. 30 seconds for station identification. Still around Joe Rudy out in deep left field. Rudy did hit the fence. That is a chicken wire fence. There is a board as a support. Had he hit the fence, meaning the full board fence, as Rusty Staub hit here during the playoffs, it would have been a different situation. He really would have been hurt. Watching on instant replay now, he goes back and there's a vertical post, and out of all the posts he could not have hit, he hit the one that could have hurt him. So we'll take that back. He went against the chicken wire fence, but he went against one of the upright posts that holds it up. So Rudy took quite a shot, and it was quite a catch. He's still in the ball game, 1 out after the great catch of the drive by Cleon Jones. And here is Milner, and here is Monte. Well, in the last 2 World Series, Joe Rudy's made 3 unbelievable catches in left field, going against the fence, and I believe this one was the best of the 3 so far. The pause here, Monte, is there's a net pennant, and it's obscuring the foul pole down the right field line, and they're asking them to take it away. And they're not doing it yet. Tell you, Cleon Jones, whatever medicine they gave him to cure him of his illness, put a little bit of zip in that bat. He has ripped the ball hard 3 times. That was a low inside hit off Bida Blue right then, and he really got down on it and leveled the blast. It's a 1-0 ball game. The A's and the Mets have played them close, all except for last night. All right, here's John Milner, who knocked in the game's only run. Left-handed batter. Vita had a no-ball, 2-strike count on him and hung one on the inside. Here's a pitch. Inside, ball one. Fast-moving game. Jerry Kuzman has been outstanding. Pitches up high. 2 balls and no strikes. Vita Blues pitched an outstanding game. What would you think? 85, 90% of the regular season, if you hold a team for 1 run for 6 innings, you're in the ball game. Here's the pitch. Outside a ball, and Vita's now gone 3-0 on left-handed John Milner. Raleigh Fingers and Darrell Knowles are both throwing in the Oakland bullpen. Vita Blue needing some strikes. Comes to the plate. Gets one. It's 3-1 now. Now the Louisiana lefty cuts loose again. There's a bouncing ball dragged to the right side. Gene Tennis has it. Tossed it underhanded to Vita Blue, covering just ahead of the oncoming runner, and they're 2 away. So they're 2 down, and here's Jerry Grody. Mets and the Oakland A's are tied up 2 games apiece. In a World Series that started on the West Coast in Oakland, the A's won first game, the Mets the second. Here's the pitch to Grody. Up high, ball one. The game to New York, the A's won the first game in New York. The Mets leveled it last night, and now they're playing it off. Somebody will go to the West Coast needing only 1 win to wrap up the championship. There's a line in the left field base hit. Jerry Grody rams one out over the shortstop head. Boy, he went down and got that one. I believe it was Vita's curveball that he hit then. Here's Don Hahn. Hit number 5 for the Mets. Don Hahn has twin brothers who are baseball players for Santa Clara University out in the Bay Area. Matter of fact, he's a twin himself. That family has 2 sets of twins. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Vita's pitched to him, swinging strike 1, and Hahn could have started swinging at that one when he left the dugout and still might have been a little late. 1 strike count on the right-handed batting center fielder for the Mets, who's done quite a job for them. It's not an easy job to step in for number 24 in New York. That would be Willie Mays, who handed the job over to this young fella. The 0-1 pitch, swinging strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, 6th inning. The Mets are leading 1-0. The temperature is under 50 now by 2 degrees. It's 48 degrees and windy in New York. But I don't know anywhere I'd rather be. Vita's 0-2 pitch. Oh, that ball must have hit the bat behind. He tried to get it out of the way. It'll hit the A's catcher, Ray Fosse. Hahn started to swing, couldn't get it out of the way. I would imagine, Jim, on the American Forces Network, there are some people listening and might be listening in an area where it's 48 degrees below zero. Or they might think it's 48 is pretty warm. It is very windy here in New York. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Vita's pitch. Inside to Hahn. Came close to the kitchen with that one. Vita Blue's been in a lot more trouble than has Jerry Kuzman. A's playing behind Grody at first. The pitch to Hahn. Popped up, fouled, but back into the crowd. Just above our head. Of inning number 6 here in New York. Vita down to the waist. Hurls and throws up high. A ball, 2-2. Once in a while, on that Vita Blue fastball, which really takes off, A's catcher Ray Fosse has to just leap to catch it. Not that it goes that high, but he has to leap and just get over there where he can reach it with his glove. He's holding his hand as he comes back. That one hit him on bone bruise, which he has already from catching this A's 320 game winning staff. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Right in front of us. That's not getting out of here, I'll tell you. See you later, Jim. Our producer, Lynn Dillon, didn't say a thing about this when we came into New York. They're shooting at us up here tonight. Hahn's giving Vita Blue a battle after getting behind on 2 strikes. Now Ron comes the arm and he throws again. There's a liner in the hole. The throw goes to the relay man, Campanez. He won't even throw it. It's a triple for Don Hahn. The Mets lead 2-0. Don Hahn, who had really given Vita Blue a battle, finally got the pitch he'd been waiting for. It was letter high on the inside, and he drove it. Oakland center fielder Reggie Jackson was playing in the hole in right center field. Don Hahn hit it in the hole in left center, and that might be all for Vita Blue tonight. Bud Harrelson is coming to the plate, and Dick Williams, the A's skipper, is going to the mound. Well, they have hit 3 balls very hard here in this inning. One of them was caught by Joe Rudy just before it tore a hole in the fence. Then Grody got a base hit. Now Don Hahn, who doesn't hit for average or for power, either one, has just driven Vita Blue out of the ball game with a blast in a hole in left center field. And Jim, did you ever see a bigger hole for a ball to go through than that one?
They just couldn't believe that Don Hahn, 229 hitter during the regular season, could get around on the ball. But he got around on that one and pulled the Vita Blue pitch they were playing him, as Monte said, to hit the other way. And so disappointed is Vita Blue, he is long gone into the dugout. And the relief pitcher has not yet arrived in the little cart from out of the bullpen. He simply walked off. This was the conversation before the World Series second game, and Blue was going to begin that. All of the friends of Vita, despite the fact he was the youngest ever to win the Cy Young Award, despite the fact he was the most valuable player in 1971 also, when he won 24 games, everybody wanted Vita to win a big one, because indeed it is true. In the playoffs last year, in the World Series last year, in the playoffs this year, he had not won a big game, a World Series game or a playoff game. They wanted him to win. He did not last, going only 5 1/3 innings in the game number 2 out in Oakland, California, this World Series, and guess what? This time he's made it 5 2/3 innings. 2 earned runs, responsible for Hahn at third base with 2 outs. 6 hits, struck out 4, and walked only 1. And in fairness to Vita Blue, despite the fact that Rudy robbed Jones of a certain base hit, he has pitched excellent ball. Anytime you're 2-0 in a ball game, you are in quite a ball game. But again, the Mets staff, this time, spearheaded by Jerry Koosman, has just been tough. 3 hits, 1 unearned run last night, and tonight, through 6 innings, 2 hits and no runs at all. It's 2-0 New York, and the way the Mets are pitching, you got to believe in their pitching staffs, as we said, with a 1.67 earned run average against both Cincinnati and the New York Mets in the championships in the World Series. You got to believe that. Well, you got to believe, is what Chuck McGraw says. Here's Darrell Knowles, and here's Monte.
And Darrell Knowles' first job will be to walk Bud Harrelson. Then they're going to pitch to the pitcher, Jerry Koosman. So we have time to tell you what Darrell Knowles, who did not get into the World Series last year, has done in the World Series this year. He pitched 2/3 of an inning and got the final 2 outs of the ball game in Oakland's 2-1 win on Saturday. He has been in 5 ball games, all 5 of them. The series record is 6, set by Hugh Casey, the old Dodgers, Raleigh Fingers, and Pedro Borbon of Cincinnati last year. In Darrell Knowles' previous 4 games in this series, he has given up only 2 hits in 5 1/3 innings, 1 run, but he has walked 4. He struck out 3. He has 1 save so far in the series. Darrell, of course, will be remembered from this World Series for one other thing for a long time. In that long extra inning close thing in Oakland on Sunday, he came in to pitch, threw a double play ball with the bases loaded that was hit right back to him, and he threw the ball away at the plate, and instead of getting 2, they didn't get anybody. And the Mets went on to win by 3 runs. Here now is the pitcher, Koosman, with runners at first and third base. Right-handed batter, Harrelson at first. Here's the pitch. Strike, it's called. Should Hahn see Harrelson break from first base, and the A's are not holding Harrelson on. The A's, I'm sure, would throw through, but you don't expect that to happen here in this situation. The pitcher would be up next. There's a bouncing ball foul off third base. And with Bando playing very shallow, Koosman came pretty close to hitting one by him. Koosman was struck out twice by Vida Blue. Mets are leading 2-0. Vida has made 2 what you could call not good pitches tonight. 1 to Milner and 1 to Staub, and they both cost him runs. Here's the pitch. After foul off third, and he's getting some real good cuts off Darrell Knowles. Knowles has gone to no ball, 2 strike count. Off the stretch, here's the pitch. Outside, it just missed the corner. He had Koosman through that time. He'd been coming inside on him, and he popped one to the outside corner and missed with it.
More, this is Jim Simpson. The Mets 2 runs. Milner singled and Jones was doubled in the second, and Brody singled in the sixth and was tripled home by Don Hahn. The A's have never been behind in this World Series. If they lose tonight, they will be, with Steven Matlack coming up. The A's have scored no runs in the last 11 innings since scoring an unearned run in the 4th inning last night. The A's have scored no earned runs in the last 15 innings. Here's Monte as Gene Tennis steps in.
Gary Koosman bears in on Gene Tennis for the first pitch. Up high, ball 1. Oakland tonight has had only 2 hits. They had just 3 last night. The Mets pitchers have put the Oakland bats in quite a slump. Foul ball out of play. Tennis got his pitch that time and just missed it. Gene Tennis, Jesus Saloon, and Ray Fosse, the scheduled batters for Oakland in inning number 7. Koosman's delivery up high to Tennis. He got to 3 balls and no strikes on Tennis in the second inning. Came back and struck him out. He walked him in the 5th. Harrelson is in from shortstop. Talking to Koosman here. He really plays tennis over in the hole. Now the 2-1 pitch. That's low, and he's ball 3. Dennis is the best man in the A's lineup to look the pitches over. He led the A's in bases on balls for the year. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. In for the New York Mets, number 45, Doug McGraw gets up and starts the throw. Well, that run that Don Hahn knocked in with 2 outs on a long triple to left center field and 2 strikes on him stands up as an awfully big run right now. The A's are going to have to do something they've not been able to do in the series, and that's put together a big inning.
Rube Walker, the pitching coach of the Mets, has walked out to talk to Jerry Koosman, and we recall last night, of course, that John Matlack's shoulder began to stiffen up. They had to bring on Ray Sadecki in the 9th inning. And the night before that, Tom Seaver suddenly cooled off after 8 innings and a half count of the ball game. It is very chilly here. Doug McGraw had the night off last night, but is up and throwing now.
Here's Jesus Salou, and Jesus went back into the dugout in the 5th inning after popping up a Koosman fastball, let her high, and threw his helmet down, and in an unusual display of temper, storming around that dugout. He got one he thought he should have hit, and he didn't. Here's the pitch to him. Curve in the dirt, and a nice shot by Jerry Grody, the Mets catcher. 2-0 to score. The Mets are leading the A's in the 7th inning. Dennis off first base. Pitch on the way. Popped up again right behind the plate. Back near the screen. Comes Grody. Can he reach it? He can. He's got it. Jesus Salou for the 2nd time in a row. Popped up to the catcher. And now Ray Fosse bats for Oakland. Is anything but overpowering, but he must be making some awfully good pitches as far as where he wants to make them. Ray Fosse, the batter, and out on deck for Oakland is Darren Johnson, who apparently pinch hit for Dick Green. 1 out, 7th inning. Dennis on at first. Ray Fosse 0 for 2 in the game. He's had 1 hit in the series. Fouled off of fastball. Strike 1. World Series last year between Oakland and Cincinnati was a low-scoring series. Here's the pitch. Fosse takes inside, just pitching. Ball 1, 1-1. One game in this series went 10-7, but it took 12 innings to do it. Delivery to Fosse, hot shot, right by the third baseman Garrett, out into the left field corner. Dennis rounding second, on his way to third. Fosse's on his way to second. It could be the tying run if he gets there. He gets there, and the A's have runners at second and third base and 1 out. Ray Fosse doubles. I believe they'll give him a double on it. It was a rocket shot right by the Met third baseman Wayne Garrett, who sort of short-armed the ball. A base hit for Ray Fosse, only the 3rd of the ball game for Oakland, and now they are a hit away from tying the ball game. Darren Johnson comes out on deck, and Yogi Berra goes to the mound. Well, they will almost have to pitch to Darren here because they don't want to walk the lead run on. The A's pitcher spot would be coming up next, and Oakland does have pinch hitters left. So what Yogi Berra does here, whether he'll take him out and bring in his number 1 man in that bullpen, Tug McGraw, we'll have to wait and see. I would have to think he's going to. He's just standing on the mound and nobody's talking.
Rube Walker came out earlier in this inning, and Yogi is now patting Jerry Koosman. saying that's it, Kuzman on his way out, and you just have to wonder whether or not Kuzman in this chilly weather, like Matlack last night, began to stiffen up, or whether the A's simply started to get their bats around him. You can't really believe that because Dennis walked, which might indicate a stiffness in the shoulder, but Alou simply fouled out. And Fosse's ball might have been flagged down by Garrett at third base, but as Monte reported, he just gave it the short reach, and the ball went beyond his reach and down in the left field corner where Jones dug it out, but it was a two-base hit. With Fosse getting only his second hit of the series, sliding in ahead of Jones's throw at second base. And how quickly this is turned around. 2 runs on 6 hits and 1 error for the A's. Kuzman has worked a total of 6 in a third inning. Not yet responsible for any run at all, but that could change. He's given up 3 hits, including the one in this inning. Walked 4, struck out 4. One of his walks was an intentional walk. And coming on is Tug McGraw, appearing in his 4th game. He's won 1, worked 10 innings, given up 7 hits and 4 runs for a 3.60 earned run average. Most of his troubles, most of that earned run average was in that long 10-7 ball game. And here comes McGraw, and he gets the hand. He's the one that originated the saying, you gotta believe. And the Mets and their fans believe in Tug McGraw. He has the ball from Yogi Berra with 1 out in the 7th inning game. Until now, as we said earlier, the Oakland A's have never been behind in this World Series in terms of games. They won the first, the Mets tied it up. They won the third, the Mets tied it up. And the Mets are trying to lead for the first time. And there is your Irish jig as Tug McGraw paws at the mound with his foot. Brody getting ready to take his warm-up tosses. And Darren Johnson on deck to do the 5th inning. And of course, Johnson, the former National Leaguer, has seen McGraw through his earlier days, which were not that good. He was on the 1969 New York Mets squad, but was not used. Here in 1973, he is in his 4th game of 5 in the World Series.
Jim, in game number 1 of the series, he started his outstanding work with 2 innings, and that was the game Oakland won, so he didn't get a chance to save or win that one, really. But his great work came in that 6th inning of work on Sunday. Tug went into that game in the 6th inning with nobody on, and the Mets were leading in the game to 3. Now, actually, in his 6 innings of work, McGraw gave up 4 runs to the Oakland A's, and that was sort of overlooked because the Mets kept coming back and bailing him out. But Oakland scored 4 runs off him that day. On 5 hits, he walked 3 and hit a batter. But he struck out 8 Oakland batters to get out of all the trouble that he was in. Then he pitched 2 innings in game number 3, and last night had the night off, except that he did work out in the bullpen a lot. Here is Darren Johnson, Oakland's designated hitter during most of the year. He drove in 81 runs at 19 home runs. Darren's batting average was .246, and he was up in the .270 range until the last 4 weeks of the season, when he got a bone chip in the right thumb, and it started floating around in there, and it was very, very tender. Dennis is at third, Fosse at second. Tug McGraw into the windup. Here's the pitch. Low fastball. It is 1-0. McGraw's big pitch has been a screwball, which goes down and away to the right-hand hitter. Mets play. Darren Johnson strictly the full hitter. McGraw on the line, throwing up high, ball 2. He is behind at 2 balls and no strikes. 1 single to tie this ball game. The Mets are leading now 2-0. McGraw delivers. Strike in the outside corner. Knee-high fastball to Johnson. That's in the perfect pitch range right there. Mets are backed up. They would give up 1 run here to get an out. A ground ball in the infield would get 1 run home. McGraw to the windup. Here's his pitch. Up high, ball 3. If McGraw loses Darren Johnson, the bases will be loaded for Angel Mangual, who's on deck. Johnson will have the green light here, you know. In rides the 3-1 pitch. Swinging strike 2. McGraw fed him his good fastball. thrown a screwball yet. So McGraw now, one strike away from a big out. Goes to work. Here's a pitch. High foul ball back this way. He has not thrown a screwball yet. Still throwing the hard stuff. Harry Parker, a right-hander, is backing McGraw up. He's in the bullpen. And still, in the last 2 years of World Series competition, no starting pitcher's gone the route. Full count on Darren Johnson. He cocks the bat. Here's McGraw's pitch. Up high, he walked him. Bases are loaded. We're going to have a pinch runner for Darren Johnson. Alan Lewis, known by Oakland A's fans as the Panamanian Express. He is strictly a pinch runner for the Oakland A's. He's going to run for Darren Johnson at first base, and coming on to pinch hit is Angel Manuel. He's batting for Darrell No. Well, McGraw, in walking Johnson, may have gotten a break right there. He has a double play position set up now. But one thing he's done, he has brought the third baseman who was very deep. The third baseman, Garrett, now has come in to play even with the bag at third. And there's a big hole between him and Bud Harrelson. Kenneth at third, Fosse at second, Lewis at first. Angel Manuel, who hit .224 with 3 homers for Oakland this year. Right-hand batter. Cocks the bat. Here's McGraw's pitch. Fastball fouled off, and what a cut Angel Manuel had right then. The Mets are leading 2-0. McGraw didn't like that last ball that the umpire threw out, and he's asking for another one. The unique thing in baseball this year, a lot of the balls are made in America but sent to Haiti to be hand-thrown. And a lot of the pitchers don't like those all that much. The A's have Gene Tennis at third, Ray Fosse at second, Alan Lewis at first. There's one out. Top half of the 7th inning, the New York Mets are leading the Oakland A's 2-0. Angel Manuel at the plate. McGraw takes the sign from Grody. Comes to the plate. Screwball. And did he swing or not? He did swing at it. Strike 2. That's the first one McGraw has thrown, and after that fastball cut that Manuel had, it doesn't surprise you to see him throw that one, and Manuel didn't come close to it. It is no balls, 2 strikes. Graw really needing a strikeout here. He is ahead of the batter at 0-2. Around comes the arm. Here's a pitch. Fastball popped up on the infield. The fly rule is on. The batter's automatically out. That's the second out of the inning. Doug McGraw made short work of Angel Manuel right there. They're 2 down, and the bases are loaded, and here is Campy Campaneris, who won the game for Oakland night before last with a base hit. These Mets fans are cheering Tuck McGraw on. This is the Mets' real danger spot of this game. They're only one so far. McGraw takes the sign. Here's the pitch to Campy. Curveball, strike, it's in there. And these Mets fans who are cheering McGraw's outstanding have just let him have a blast here. 1 strike to count on Oakland's shortstop, Bert Campaneris. Here's the pitch. Curveball again, missing. 1-1. He throws a curveball which breaks into the right-hander, a screwball which breaks away, and he's got a good live fastball. So you can't guess on him. Runners lead away at all stations. Here's the pitch. Curveball up high. It's 2-1. Ennis, Fosse, and Lewis are on for the A's with 2 down in the 7th. McGraw to the plate. Fastball swinging. Strike 2. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and these Mets fans are ready to tear the roof off the buildings around this ballpark in Flushing Meadows. Listen at him. Here's McGraw, 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. He left him up there. Doug McGraw, the miracle worker of the Miracle Mets, has just done it again. The score is New York 2, Oakland nothing. From New York, Jim Simpson with Monte Moore, and now Wally Fingers has come on to do the pitching, and Ted Kubiak has moved in to play second base. Fingers is doing in his 4th game. He is 0-1, but his earned average is 1.29. Has a save. He'll get the top of the batting order. And you know, Monte Moore, doing baseball for NBC, I've been all around the American League and all around the National League, and I've told this story before. In Kansas City at All-Star break time, a New York Met official said, in September, because we have the pitching, we will be the team that will win the National League East and the series, and look what's going on. It's not complete or true yet, but they sure do look good. Raleigh Fingers to Wayne Garrett in the first pitch of the last half of the 7th inning is a strike from the big ace reliever of the Oakland bullpen. Wayne Garrett, 4 hits and 21 at-bats in the series. The pitch to him, curveball, is down low. Boy, that McGraw has been in and out of some scrapes that Houdini couldn't have gotten out of in this series. And he has gotten out of them. That was the biggest one so far. Here's a pitch to Garrett. Bouncing ball right side. Ted Kubiak, new second baseman in for Oakland. Tosses to tennis at first. There's 1 out. Dick Williams, Oakland A's got the break they wanted in the 7th when Kuzman walked tennis. And then Ray Fosse doubled tennis at third. Yogi Berra the chance that he had to take in going to the bullpen and getting Tug McGraw, and he threw a fastball strike right down the middle that Campaneris didn't swing at for the 3rd strike. Here's Felix Millan. Strike call from Raleigh Fingers. Fingers led the Oakland A's pitching department in saves with 22 for the year. Here's his 0-1 pitch. It is outside the ball, 1-1. Mets lead 2-0, and the Met crowd spelling victory, chanting, "Let's go Mets." 1-1 pitch, sidearm curve. Did he bunt at it or not? They appeal to the first base umpire, and he says no. Felix Millan almost went out over the plate trying to bunt that ball. It was a big curve. He laid off of it, says the umpire. Home plate umpire couldn't see it. He appealed to the first base umpire, Wendelstedt, and he had another decision to make on a ball or a strike call. Now the 2-1 pitch. Fouled off into the right field corner, out of play. One of the biggest breaks McGraw got, I think, when he came in was walking Darren Johnson, a power-hitting pinch hitter with first base open. He didn't want to, but he did. And that allowed him to pitch to Mangroff for the pop-up. Here's a bouncer to Bando near the bag at third. He's got it. Throws to first in the dirt, and Gene Tennis saved him an error by digging it out on a backhanded stab. 2 out, and here's Rusty Staub. Oakland will have only 2 more shots at the Mets in this game. Game number 5 of the 1973 World Series. Both playoffs in the American and National League went 5 games this year. Mets in a frantic series with Cincinnati, and the A's ditto with Baltimore. Raleigh Fingers misses high and inside. You know, the pitching has been able to remain strong in the series because of the off-day traveling coast to coast. 1-0 pitch. Curve down and in. Too much. Last year, the A's got a little advantage in pitching in the World Series because one of the games got rained out. They had to play a game in Oakland on an afternoon and fly all the way to Cincinnati and play the next afternoon, which meant the Reds didn't get that much more rest, and Oakland was deep in pitching. There's a called strike to Rusty Staub. But the Mets have three good starters, and they're going to be able to go with them right down the line. Oakland has gone right with their 320 game winners down the line. Pitch it goes by outside for ball 3 to Staub. Three balls, one strike on the Met right fielder. Strike 2 call to the inside corner. Rusty jumped out of the way of that ball. It wasn't really that close to him. So Fingers is now at the payoff position here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and he shakes off Ray Fosse on one side. Vida Blue pitched well here today. 5 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs. Mets had 6 hits, a big one. A 2-out triple by Hahn. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Curveball, walked him, and Rusty Staub is on. That brings up Cleon Jones, who just crushed the ball 3 times tonight. Jones, his first time up in the second inning, hit a Vida Blue pitch off the left field wall. He scored on John Milner's single. Then in the 4th inning, he got a base hit off Vida. In the 6th inning, he sent Joe Rudy on one of his acrobatic circus catches as he crashed into the left field wall. So he has really been on the ball tonight. Pitch to him is fouled away. Strike 1. The way Jones has been pulling the ball in the World Series, Oakland has had to change the defense, and it's interesting to see how the various scouting reports are changed in the middle of the series. Out in Oakland, the first 2 games, the A's right fielder and center fielder were well over to the line, opposite way on Jones. Here's the 0-1 pitch, sidearm hook, and he started to go around. He did go around, says the first base umpire. The home plate umpire never saw that one again. He asked for help at first. Well, Doug McGraw now comes to the 8th inning, and now comes to the important part of the Athletics lineup. In an effort for the A's, who had the bases loaded in the 7th inning, to catch up to this Mets team that leads 2-0, they will have Joe Rudy, Sal Bando, and Reggie Jackson. So among them have a bundle of home runs. And of course, if one gets on, Gene Tennis is the next man. And what I'm saying anymore is, this is the golden chance that there is to be a chance against Doug McGraw for the Oakland A's. How important the bullpen has become in Major League Baseball. Doug McGraw was in some 24 of the last 31 games the Mets had this year. The World Series, Darrell Knowles' Oakland bullpen has already been in every one of the games. Here's Joe Rudy up now. He's 0 for 3 tonight. McGraw's pitch, fastball just off the outside shelf, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. He only threw 1 screwball when he was in that jam in the 7th inning. But it got him out ahead of Angel Manuel and loosened Angel up at the plate enough that he was then able to go back and get him. Here's the 1-0 to Rudy. Little low, ball 2. Score is 2-0. The Mets are leading the Oakland A's, and Oakland has only 2 more shots at them. George Stone, a left-hander, is now working in the Mets bullpen. 2-0 pitch to Rudy. Strike gets in there. Most good relievers have some kind of a freak pitch. McGraw has the screwball, but he can also throw the ball by you. He's got a good, quick fastball. 2-1 pitch. Long drive to left, but hooking foul by Joe Rudy. Oh, he got out on that one. Now it'll be interesting to see if McGraw comes back and spins one out. I believe Rudy broke his bat on that. Two balls, 2 strikes. Bando is on deck. Jackson in the hole. Their pitch. Yeah, I figured that. McGraw threw a curve in the dirt that time to Rudy. Joe had too good a cut at that McGraw fastball to come back with another one. But now he's going to have to come in with something he thinks because he's gone all the way on Rudy at 3-2. Rudy lays the bat right on his right shoulder. Here's the pitch. Fastball hit on the ground of the third baseman. Garrett has this one. Throwing to first. He got him. The Mets have stopped the hot-hitting Joe Rudy cold here tonight. He's 0 for 4.
Monte, a little quiz, not for you, but for the fans out there. Since there are no complete games by any pitchers this year, when was and who was the last complete game pitcher in the World Series? The answer after Bando died.
Thank you, Mr. Answerman. Here's the pitch to Bando. Curve a little high, ball 1. Well, let's see. Dating back to the Pittsburgh and who the year before? Baltimore. Bando fouls his pitch back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sal.
Pittsburgh won in 7 in 1971, and Baltimore took Cincinnati in 5 in 1970.
McGraw's pitch to Bando. Strike, a fastball right in there. Little left-hander from Vallejo, California. Doug McGraw, who really tugs at the heartstrings of the New York Mets fans. And he's got them all right where he wants them. The pitch. A little low. Boy, I've noticed the 2 strikes on batters. He tries to get that fastball sneaking by you. He did on Campaneris with the bases loaded. Now the 2-2 pitch to Bando. Fuji is up high, ball 3. He's been at 3-2 on 2 batters in a row now. He'd hate to lose Bando with Jackson coming up. Here's his pitch. Little looper, left field. That ball hit off the end of the bat. Here comes Jones. He's got it. Now Bando hit that ball right off the end of the bat for the second out. And now Reggie Jackson bats with nobody on.
And the answer, Steve Blass, in the 7th game of the 1971 World Series, pitched a complete ball game. None all last year in Cincinnati Series, and none, of course, this year through 5 games.
And then Steve Blass had a National League record for the running broad jump off the pitcher's mound. Here's Reggie Jackson. He hit a sharp ground ball right up the middle in the 6th inning with runners in scoring position, and Harrelson got him. Pitch to Jackson is low and inside, ball 1. McGraw has flirted with danger since he's been in. He was at 3-2 on Rudy, 3-2 on Bando, 3-2 on Darren Johnson. He walked Johnson. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Jackson takes high, ball 2, and he's at 2-0 on him. If Jackson gets on, it'll be Gene Ennis. Now McGraw takes the sign. Here's his pitch. Jackson is taking for the first time I can ever remember seeing him going up there with the idea of taking on 2-0. He was holding the bat right out over the plate and didn't even offer at it. Usually these big, long tater hitters are up there to swing away, but he wants to get on. Pitch inside, ball 3. The A's need base runners now, and with Gene Tennis on deck. These big, long tater hitters are up there to swing away, but he wants to get on. Pitch inside, ball 3. The A's need base runners now, and with Gene Tennis on deck. Jackson is looking at Irv Norn, the third base coach for Oakland, to see if he can hit or take here. The Mets have a left-hander throwing, no right-handers throwing in their bullpen. Been amazing how much they've gone to the left-hand pitching in this series against the A's right-hand hitters. 3-1 to Jackson. It almost hit him. Gets away from the catcher. Did it hit the bat or not? Jackson goes off to first base. He tried to get out of the way of that ball, and it almost hit him. It glanced off Grody's glove. So Jackson goes to first with 2 down, and here's Gene Tennis. Score, the Mets 2 and the A's nothing. There are 2 down. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. Tennis has walked twice in this game and struck out on a 3-2 count another time. They hit a home run here tonight. It'll take a line drive to left field. The wind is blowing across. Here's a pitch. Serve high. And the Mets have really thrown a lot of breaking balls to Tennis. Though Kuzman struck him out with a fastball in the second inning after setting him up well with the breaking ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball, and it's right in there. Strike call, it's 1-1. Boy, this little pitcher really keeps you guessing up there. What a performer. Now the 1-1 pitch. Slow curveball. Swinging strike 2. He's getting the A's batters to take the fastball, and then they're swinging at the breaking ball. He's ahead of Tennis at 1-2. He sets. He throws. Through ball outside. 2-2. He hasn't really thrown that one for a strike. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Back to the curve, and Tennis beats it foul into the dirt behind the plate. He got a strike on the screwball, but he didn't throw it in the strike zone. That was on Mangual for the second strike. Mets are deep for Tennis. Jackson leading off first base with a count 2-2. Here's the pitch. Up high, it is now ball 3. He has been on 3 and 2 counts on 4 straight batters in this inning and 1 in the last inning. Now Jackson will take off here. McGraw sets. He throws. Tennis flips it foul off the end of the bat down the first base line. If Tennis gets on and keeps it going, the A's will have Jesus Alou to bat next. They can't manufacture an inning here. They already have 2/3 of it gone. Jackson leads the way. Jackson runs. Here's a pitch. Ball 4. He walks him. Gene Tennis struts a free pass for the 3rd time in this ball game. And here is Jesus Alou, who hit only 1 home run for Oakland this year. Tonight, at the plate 3 times, he's popped up to the catcher twice and grounded to short. The A's left 2 men on in the 6th inning. They left 3 on in the 7th inning. And now there are 2 on here in the 8th. With a club like this, you'd think something would have to pop soon. Dick Williams is asking for time here. And I don't know what it might be about unless they're going to have a bench runner. I don't know. Williams is asking for time. And he sent the bat boy back up into the runway that goes out to the A's bullpen area. And they're bringing on, is it going to be John Odom? Is he going to come out and run or not here? We'll have to wait and see. That's exactly what it is. John Odom is coming into the ball game, which means Gene Tennis will be leaving the ball game. That man carries the tying run of the game. And that's the reason you want a fast runner over there right now. If it's an extra base hit by Alou down either line, a fast runner might be able to score. Though the ball down the lines in this park, I've noticed, always comes back into the outfielders.
Number 13.
John Odom, one of the fastest runners of the A's ball club, is going in to pinch run for Gene Tennis. Gene Tennis has received 9 bases on balls in the 5 games of this World Series, and the record is held by Babe Ruth at 11. Well, Gino tied a Babe Ruth record last year. at the plate with 2 down and 2 on. McGraw set. Here's a pitch. Through ball, strike ball. Gene Tennis was not happy at all at leaving the ball game for a runner. But this is the 8th inning. There's a pitch, and it's a line drive right at the third baseman, Garrett. He's got it. If he had not have been guarding the foul line right then, 2 runs would have scored. That ball was a smash line drive right at the third baseman, Garrett. Joe McGraw gets out of another jam here in the 8th inning, and the Mets continue to lead 2-0.
Well, when the New York Mets face those Oakland A's in the 9th inning, it's the 7, 8, 9 batters, and Monte Moore, they'd had a lot of opportunities, the Oakland A's, in the 7th and 8th. They had the bases loaded in the 7th inning with 2 out, and 2 on with 2 out in the 8th, and could not negotiate it. So now we wait through Milner, Grody, and Hahn before we see just how well these Oakland A's can or will do against the superb New York Mets pitching.
Rowdy Fingers pitches to John Milner. Here's the pitch to him, and he rips one in the center field, a base hit. John Milner gets a solid base hit out in the center field. Well, the A's have left 8 runners stranded in the last 4 innings. Pat Burke is now in at first base for the Oakland A's. And the batter for the Mets is Jerry Grody, who's had 1 for 3 in the game. His 2-out base hit in the 6th inning set up Don Hahn's triple, which gave the Mets their 2nd run. Fingers to the plate. Grody bunted out to the right side. Foul off first base. Jesus Salou can hardly hit a ball any harder than he hit it in the 8th inning for that final out. But Wayne Garrett, playing baseball percentages with the tying run in scoring position on an extra base blow, straddled the foul line, and he took a ripper about knee-high. 1 strike pitch. Grody's going to bunt again. He bunted the first base side. Burke has got it. No play at second. He lobs it over to Tiggs, who'll be out covering first for the 4th. Don Hahn. Hahn's getting a great round of applause as he comes up for his triple in the 6th inning. The Mets 2 and the A's nothing. The Mets got their first run in the 2nd inning, their 2nd run in the 6th. Fingers with a man at second base, looks him back in, throws to Hahn, swing and a foul off the first base line. The A's had tried to pitch Hahn to the outside of the plate. The whole series, Vida Blue got one up and in on him, and he really drilled it. One count. Boy, the wind is really gusting here in New York. Cocks the bat. Here's the pitch. Curve. He swings and misses big. Strike 2. Ray Fosse asked for time. He wants to find out from Fingers now, with him ahead of the batter, what he wants to do. Do we go at him right here, or do we waste 1 or 2? No balls. 2 strikes. The pitch. Up high, 0-1. Mets defensive positioning has been very important in this ball game. Reggie Jackson hit a screaming liner out over second base with a runner in scoring position. Back in the 6th inning, and Bud Harrelson was right there to take it. Jesus Salou ripped one behind third. And it was taken by Garrett. Here's a swing and a miss on a big wasted curveball outside. On, strike out. 2 down, and now Harrelson is due to bat. First base is open, and the pitcher up next, they will walk Harrelson. So Harrelson will be walked intentionally. They'll pitch to McGraw. if you're looking ahead to the ninth inning, Oakland will have catcher Ray Fosse due to bat, then Ted Kubiak, and then the pitcher Raleigh Fingers. And you know about what chance Fingers would have of batting. Lina Blue pitched the first 5 2/3 innings of this game, gave up 2 runs and 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. Gary Kuzma of the Mets pitched the first 6 1/3 innings, didn't give up any runs, 3 hits and walked 4. Doug McGraw bailed him out of a big jam in the 7th inning. And here comes... Well, you know, Jim, when they start picking the World Series hero, we've talked about Staub, we've talked about Harrelson. You got to talk about this guy who's getting a standing ovation right now.
Lots of standing ovations in New York. The New York Mets fans not only turn out in numbers, but in appreciation. And Doug McGraw still has the ninth inning ahead of him, but what a job he did in trouble twice in the 7th and 8th innings and got out of it.
Well, McGraw is a batter now. Comes up for the first time in the game with runner at second, a runner at first, and Raleigh Fingers staring in behind that big handlebar mustache. The pitch. McGraw fouls it off.
The U.S. With Monte Moore in New York, this is Jim Simpson. We're in the 9th inning, and the New York Mets lead 2-0. Milner singled in Cleon Jones in the 2nd. Don Hahn tripled in another run in the 6th inning. And for the Oakland A's, who are in danger of falling behind in Game 1 for the first time in this 1973 World Series, there is an ever-present danger. They have now gone through their last 17 innings of World Series without a single earned run, and only 1 run unearned in those last 17 innings. Ray Fosse will lead it off in the 9th, and here's Monte.
And things look a little tough, too, going back out to California and having a look at the ace of the Mets staff, Tom Seaver. Here's Ray Fosse. Fosse got a double in the 7th inning. McGraw winds and throws, and it's up high for ball 1. That was the best chance Oakland had to get back in the ball game. But McGraw was equal to the occasion. Here's a pitch. A little high, ball 2. Ted Kubiak is out on deck. McGraw to Fosse. Right in there, strike 1. Harry Parker, a right-hander, George Stone, a left-hander, are in the Met bullpen. McGraw's pitch. Fastball and left field hard. That's Jones. He's got it. Boy, I tell you, the Mets have really been living it right tonight. There have been a lot of line drives right straight at defensive players. Ray Fosse just creamed that ball, and Cleon Jones came in and caught it. 1 out in the 9th inning, and here is Ted Kubiak. A switch hitter batting right-handed against McGraw. Strike is in there. McGraw working quickly. Throws a strike. It's 0-2. Round comes the arm. The 0-2 pitch is a screwball up high. One ball, 2 strikes to count. Here's through ball, just misses outside. Ball two.
The song is Goodbye Charlie, being sung by Mets fans for Charles O. Finley, the Oakland A's.
Here's a 2-2 pitch, popped up behind the plate. There'll be no play this time for Grody. It's going to be on the net. The Mets won a big ball game, and everybody around the World Series said it was a big one when they came back and won that extra inning game Sunday in Oakland. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Kubiak fouls it off. And the reason that one was so big was now they could come back to New York and have this home crowd. If they would have come back in here 0-2, it might have been tough. Here's a 2-2 to Kubiak. Strike three call. He got him looking. And there are two outs. Billy Canigliaro comes out as a pinch hitter for Raleigh Fingers. McGraw got a called third strike by Campy Campaneris in the seventh inning with the bases loaded. He got a called third strike by Ted Kubiak here. Billy Canigliaro, an outfielder, ready at the plate. Here's the pitch. Strike is called, and these fans are going wild. McGraw allows himself the comfort of a deep breath. Here's the one-strike pitch. Through ball. Drops off too much. It's 1-1. He hasn't thrown that one for a strike, but just having it has made the others even that much more effective.